All right, 2010 Rav 4. Let's do an oil change on it. Let's go get the filter. The book here says 2010 Rav 4. It's a 2.5, and it's going to be a 27047, which will be a cartridge. 27047. There it is. Cool. So we got filter. Let's do the next stuff. All right. So the main three things I usually check when I do this is add windshield washer fluid, which we have over there. Check the antifreeze and look at the filter. So let's do the windshield wiper stuff first. Sure did. Cool, so that's one thing checked off the list. Next, radiator. Radiator's kind of low, so what I'll do is just fill it up with some water. As for going into the summertime, water won't hurt. When you get closer to the winter time, you want to use antifreeze. But we're going to get it up to where it should be on the full mark right here. So let's get some water in there. Now you got some in there, it's just not a lot. So we'll just do that. We'll check to see the water pump underneath. But for right now, when you go into the summertime, water's fine. Because generally when you put antifreeze in there, you have to dilute it 50-50, 50 water, 50 antifreeze. Well, it depends on what region, but for around here, that's what it is. So there, you're at where the full mark is. That's good enough. I'll just see if we could do this demonstration a little bit. Yeah, but it's gonna be water, so it's gonna be at 0. So that's fine. All right, the fluid is topped off and pretty good. And that last thing we do is air box. And we'll see if that's clean, then we'll lift the car. So with the air box, it's just a couple of these pins you push off, and you lift up the box. There's more pins back here that I'm missing. No, okay. Just want to double check. No. Okay. Raise it up. This looks pretty clean. It is. Double check. Yeah, for right now it's clean. Okay, so we got the main stuff pretty much checked out and all is good. Now we just gotta get to the oil filter, change that out, drain the oil, put some new in there. All right, so the way I usually lift this is I go by the pinch weld of the car, which is this long skinny metal rail right here, and we'll just raise it up that way. Tire should be at 35, but you can always check that at the door here. Usually give you a small, that white sticker, and I'll tell you exactly what it is. So we have 32 and 32. I'll just go to 35 just in case it loses pressure. So let's lift the car. So okay, we're underneath the car. Let's go check some key components here. So we got sway bar link, which is that long bar link, still connected. That's good. Tires, good. Everything seems connected. Sway bar, ball joint, good, good. Strut, bad. Do the same thing on this side. All good. Cool. Not bad. So this is the drain plug, and this is the drain, and that's going to be the filter. She has the upgraded metal one. Usually they come in plastic and they break off. Don't ever tighten these too much because they will cause problems. Check underneath here. Oh, I do see some kind of wetness, and it looks like it's the water pump. So you'll need a water pump, but as of right now, it's okay. It's not leaking tremendously bad. Just something for you to know. I'll check the back real quick. That we're gonna have to check fluid because that is leaking like crazy. And everything else back here is not bad. Swivel legs are connected. Everything else looks connected. So we'll have to check that and drain the fluid. So overall, not too bad compared to what I'm used to seeing here. So let's get this plug off. Go from there. So we're gonna loosen the drain plug. I like to use a bone, which is basically your all-in-one wrench for any kind of oil drains. So I think this one's gonna be a 13. Nope, 14. Yes, 14 it is. So 14, and we'll just loosen this up. Next we'll get a cap for the oil filter. Okay, so we have the smallest filter here, which is Toyota 460. It's made for Toyota, and what I like to do is I like to use the gun just to take them off, not to put them on, because the gun has vibration. It'll come off very easy. So what we'll do is just put it up to here like this. I'll put the gun on and I'll just give it light tap until it starts spinning. Just like that. You see that? That's when I stop. And now I switch over to a wrench from this. Or I'll just use this, to be honest. Should be like this. I'll move this closer to catch. And just be careful here because this might just fall and cover you in oil. Ooh, that's gonna be spicy. I'll let that just drain for a little bit. Ooh, that's hot. That's really hot. Holy shit. Ow. Ouch. Ouch. Okay, watch out. I can feel it like getting loose. Yep, there it is. I'll bring that down so you can see it better. So you open up to the new filter. This part is if you want to do a cheap oil change, or like to call the poor man's oil change, where you just remove this, don't change the filter, and put this in to help drain. I generally just throw this out because it's not needed. But in this bag, you have the new gasket and the filter. So there's a filter for it. And we're going to use the big gasket. That's the one that goes around the filter housing. So what you want to do with this is once you open this, you want to cover it in oil. Same way you would cover a normal filter, like the one that's in there, or you would cover this rubber piece. Is the same thing you're going to do with this gasket. So since there's oil in the bucket, I'll just rotate it twice. And that's oiled and ready to be installed. I'm going to use a flat blade screwdriver to take that off as well. So right now we're just going to clean it up with the brake cleaner, just so we can grab it. So that looks pretty good to me. Take it and we'll remove this rubber piece. And just remember where it goes, because you have to install it back again the same way. And then we can pop the filter out as well. Double whammy. Oh, I want to keep that in there. It's a good thing I actually popped out, because I can kind of show you what this is. So this is a filter cap, and what basically this does, this sits down in here. So as I can hopefully get this around my fingers, there it is. You just want it right there, and that's what the filter will usually sit on, which we'll do right here. It'll sit like that, and that piece will connect to the top part up into that hose up there. Trying to flash that up there too. And that's what that'll cope and connect this together to make a seal. So now we got to put that gasket, not this one, this one's the new one. Don't mix up your gaskets either. And we'll just wrap it around till we get into that little slot. And we'll put it down on the slot like I said, and you'll make sure that you work your way around so it's a perfect seal. So that'll fit there. Perfect, and that's how it'll sit. So another thing before I put this back in is we had a spring pop up. The spring sits here, which then the filter sits over the spring. Now that spring will put tension up into that hole. So now we'll go up. And close it up for now. So we have an extension here. We'll put it on the socket and we'll connect that top part to screw this in. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. There we go. Now, like I said, we won't be tightening this too hard because even the metal parts, we don't want to break any of the threads. So just as it gets tight like that, and I'll do a little quarter of a turn just to bring it home like that. Good to go. If that gets stuck, one of the things I recommend is grabbing a socket, giving a tap, and that should come off just like that. So next we'll put the drain plug back in, which is up here, and there's usually a gasket, so this one stayed on. So we'll put it over the same gasket. And you want this gasket because if you don't have it, it'll leak. You get replacements for it, but since this one's still pretty good and stuck onto the pan, it'll make our lives a little bit easier. So I'll screw this down. This is a 14mm size, and then we'll clean it up from all the oil. So that's good enough. And we'll clean up this and this entire mess with some brake cleaner. Usually do this for customers so that they're not weary when they're backing up in their driveway and all of a sudden a little bit of oil falls on the ground. That's just our little motto. So that looks pretty clean, pretty good. So now that that's clean, we're gonna come over here. We're gonna make sure the tires are up to pressure. So that's 36. I would just leave it at that. And we're just gonna do all 4 of them. So right now we're gonna also check the rear diff just to make sure there's fluid in there. This is a size 10mm Allen head, small extension, big ratchet. Oh, I don't like the placement that they put this in. One moment, we'll switch spots here. That bolt is gonna be a real asshole. Let's see if I can do it without the extension, because that bolt is going to get in the way every single time. See if I could just do this. Well, I might. Let's see. Or not. Let's go back before we strip it. I don't want to do that. Wow, that's going to be annoying. That bolt is a real asshole. Let's try this again. Okay. If we had just a bit longer extension. Let me see if I can find one over there. Hold on. That we made for you up there on how much quarts of oil, and put the same oil in it. But we'll show where to do all that too. And I believe you use synthetic, so with synthetic you can go 5,000 miles instead of 3. So that's always beneficial. So we'll use synthetic 0W20. This oil change basically is for 2010, and I'm sure it's all higher models up into 2024. Toyota doesn't really change much. So this will probably, I don't know to how long. I mean, they would have all the circular stuff and filters they have down there, but this will be an oil change from 2010 to probably 2024, if I had to guess. Or basically pretty close to it. So now we have 5 quarts in there. Let's go start it and reset the oil life. Keys are in here? No. Oh, pass me the keys then. Cool. Alright.
Does it start?
No.
Wait, wiggle that key in front of your mouth. And then
I'll just do this. No.
with the brake.
Press what?
Like press down the brake while you do that.
I am. No.
Press the button. No?
No. You have your other key? Somewhere. That'll probably work. Let's see if it'll just hit the auxiliary. Yeah. So with the auxiliary, with Toyotas, it's all the same way. So you'll find your button here, and you'll shut this one off. And while you shut this one off, you're going to hold this button down. Then you're going to turn it back on twice. And if it doesn't do it, you'll go to insert A and do the same thing. Shut this off, hold that down, turn this on twice, and you can see the little lines going down. That's you resetting your maintenance light. And now that it flashes zeros, your maintenance light is reset. You're good to go. So let's start it. There we go. We'll run it for about a couple minutes, or honestly like maybe a minute. Let all the oil get through all the places it needs to go, and then we'll check it with the dipstick. So now we'll grab the dipstick after running it and just check it. So the first wipe, we'll wipe it down so we get all the old oil off of it. Stick it back in there, and now we'll get a correct reading of what it is. I can find the hole. Okay, there we go. And now we'll see, we'll go all the way to the end, and it's right there. And as long as it's in between those two or a little bit over this one, oil is good. So that concludes the oil change. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.